We may have a wet-ass SummerSlam this summer. Cardi B is rumored to host SummerSlam.
One more run for the Bella twins? Brie Bella says definitely.
Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell. This is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
Yes, we are going into the hot girl, hot boy summer, and SummerSlam's coming back. And what are we waiting for? Wet ass SummerSlam. I don't know why I said that in Chyna voice. But
Oh my god, it popped me so much. It was hilarious. Yeah, you did say it in a China voice for some reason.
we do have a Chyna news coming up. But Cardi B is rumored to host this year's SummerSlam. So the news right now is that WWE wants to make this SummerSlam like this year's WrestleMania, basically. So they're like gearing this up to be a huge event. They're doing it in Las Vegas this year, and like already there's like whole rumor about John Cena coming back for this, Brock Lesnar coming back for this. But for the women's side, we have the word that Cardi B is hosting SummerSlam in August this year. From Andrew Zarian of Matt Men Podcast, I guess it's a reputable source. They said, I can confirm that Cardi B is hosting SummerSlam. So I guess it's confirmed.
But I mean, that would be actually huge if it does happen. I mean, Cardi B has a huge following. Definitely a lot of mainstream crossover for sure. You know, everybody would be covering if Cardi B does do it. And it was kind of cool, like, seeing that interaction that Cardi B did have with the WWE Universe on Twitter for a little bit. So it'll kind of be like a full circle. And if they're really making it like a big WrestleMania, and I know they're using all their resources for SummerSlam, this would be a great way to do it for sure. Vegas in August is so hot though. It's like 120 degrees, so it'll definitely be a wet ass summer.
People's ass will actually be wet.
Literal
Oh
wet.
my god! Yeah, so back in January, Cardi B was mentioned on Raw by Tori Wilson, and there was like whole tweets about Cardi B, and Cardi tweeted out like, what is going on? Why are people talking about WWE and me? And then she later posted saying that this is not how my WWE debut was supposed to be. And she started talking about how she loves Trish Stratus, Melina, and everyone like that, and then there was this whole freaking feud with Lacey Evans, remember?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that was true.
Lacey's not going to be around. She's currently expecting a daughter. I'm so happy for Lacey. It's not Ric Flair. That's just a storyline. But yeah, so unfortunately she won't be feuding with Lacey Evans, but I am so personally happy for Carmella.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, Carmella's been trying to get on Cardi B's radar for so long now. But hey, finally it's gonna come true.
Her dream's coming true and I'm so happy for her. They're gonna make a whole documentary about Carmella meeting Cardi B. They're gonna meet each other.
Yeah.
No, I hope they have a little segment together or something like
I
that.
hope so too, that'd be awesome.
This week we saw the return of Evolution, and if we're talking about the pink-haired lady, I have to bring in our pink-haired lady, Moxie Molly!
Hello everyone! The interdimensional She-Ro has returned to news and rumors!
So the big news coming out of Eva Marie's return is really the debut of Piper Niven, along with Eva Marie. What did you think of the debut match?
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but the folks here at Ring the Bell have known of this tea for months. We knew that this is where this was going. Ha ha ha! I say that I love Piper Niven. She is a force to be reckoned with. I am kind of over using Eva Marie as like, I don't even know, like the manager, escort, or like the sassy siren with like a woman of strength, because I think they did the same thing with Nia. I don't know how to let WWE and even AEW know, like, stuff we've seen 5 years ago, we don't want to see anymore. We want to see new stuff. So if you're bringing back Eva Marie to be some sort of, do you hear me now, or whatever she says, like, give her something new. Like, a new hair color doesn't change who she is. Doesn't suddenly make us like, oh, now we're interested for her to do the exact same storyline because her hair is different.
This is not a review episode, but I honestly was kind of like okay with how this turned out. Obviously, minus Naomi has to job for Piper Niven, but I thought it was not traditional like muscle bodyguard situation. I think there's like something going on with Piper Niven. She was like looking cute. She was like, I kind of liked the dynamic, but obviously obviously going to talk a little bit more about that in our review episode. A couple things that you mentioned were really fun. So we said we've heard rumors about this even before. The news that we're hearing today is that apparently they were planning Piper Niven to debut with Eva Marie until last moment, but then they canceled it over the weekend, and then they brought it back. So they're going really back and forth with this whole plan. Obviously, the rumor last week was that Mercedes Martinez was also being considered for this role, so I guess they were just going really back and forth about it. The other news is, we're calling her Piper Niven because we knew her from NXT UK, but the whole thing is that the commentary team did not know who she was. They're like, who is this lady? Who is this? They were still deciding if they're going to keep this name, Piper Niven, or the other name that they're talking about was, let me read this correctly. They were thinking about the name Duo Drop.
Duo Drop. That's dumb. I don't understand it.
Me neither. I mean, she looked cute with the Chun-Li, buns.
Listen, if it was dew drop, like D-E-W, like Mountain Dew, and a dew drop is when it gets dewy outside overnight and you wake up in the grass, that would kind of make sense with her because she does kind of have that effervescent personality, kind of bubbly. When she gets into her beast mode, she's not so bubbly, but my point is she kind of has that not like ditzy, but she wants to be everyone's best friend, but duo as in two drop, that's dumb. I don't understand that. And this has nothing to do with anything, but her little buns, they were so cute, but they were a totally different color from her hair. And I get it, I have a different color hair, but why does everyone have a different color hair now?
Well, I don't know what you're gonna think about K-pop groups then, cause
right, we really only know one K-pop group.
Blackpink.
So
Other news that we're talking about is that the strategy they're going with Eva Marie. Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio talked about this. So the plan right now is that Eva Marie will be on the show in her cute outfit and everything, but Piper Niven will be the one wrestling. Eva Marie will take credit for the wins, but we won't necessarily see Eva Marie wrestle.
that's dumb.
I mean, that seems like
Have you noticed a trend here?
You just ate it!
You noticed a trend?
I was kind of excited to see what was going on, to be honest. And I was surprisingly, fine. Except for Naomi dropping, obviously. They could have just gotten any NXT girl to do that. But I was intrigued. I tuned in for, the first time in a while, live, so...
Yeah. Still dumb. Most things being cranked out nowadays are just kind of silly.
I think you have, a bigger problem with the wrestling industry just in general.
I feel like a lot across all networks besides maybe NWA is getting kind of stale, but whatever. Eva Marie is back, so it's gotta get better, right?
Let's talk about Bella Twins. So, the Bella Twins, they were on Entertainment Tonight, and they were talking about their career. They were talking about the match with Stephanie McMahon in SummerSlam. But this is what she said.
I'll never forget the moment when I wrestled Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam. And to see her three little girls, their faces when we came back, they looked at their mom like she was a superhero. I want that one day. I just thought that was the coolest thing. The Bellas are definitely going to make a comeback. We don't know exactly when, but we said we have one more run in us and we'd really love to do it.
Yeah, but we are starting, I know for me, definitely starting that preparation.
Interesting. I definitely can see them having one more run. Sure, why not?
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Alexa and Lily become the tag team champions. Things are bad. If anyone can bring at least a little bit of the life into the women's tag team division, that might be Bella Twins. This is our last hope. Please.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome to see that too, especially because they have been away from WWE, at least in-ring wise. I know they did have appearance here recently, but it would be awesome to see them do one more run. Why not? I know they're good for business. People love them. So why not? And it'd be kind of cool to see how they interact with the non-existing tag team division that they have right now. So, like you said, at least bring something back to life. And hopefully it'll be sooner than later before they take away the women's tag titles.
Brie did come back for a little bit to have that, storyline with Maurice and Miz. The real issue is Nikki, because she had this huge injury. She had a big cyst in her spine, so she's really in a bad condition to wrestle. Hopefully she can wrestle, or at least be in a bit of an action role. Alright, so we just talked about Bella Twins wanting to come back for wrestling, but what is happening with Total Bellas or Total Divas? So the news right now is that E is reportedly not renewing Total Bellas or Total Divas. Reportedly not getting renewed. What's your thought on that?
You know me. My guilty pleasure is reality television. When I have nothing else to do, I just want to watch some smut television. and watch people have drama, and it almost feels like it relieves the drama I have in my life. Like, I'm like, look, they're WWE divas, and this is what they're going through. Like, my shit's normal. It just makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
It's getting very personal, Moxie.
I think it was you, actually, who posted on Twitter that Maurice won because her show isn't canceled and it's doing well, and they like kicked her off of Total Divas and like didn't renew her contract. So I think that's very like funny. It breaks my heart a little bit because we did see the conception of Total Divas happen kind of when the women's evolution started, with the women starting to sort of fade somewhat to the background on wrestling programming, and now seeing their reality shows being canceled. It worries me for what's next for the women in wrestling. I would say that canceling Total Bellas makes a little bit of sense. Both of them now have their kids. Like Nikki Bella is like with a dude who's totally outside of the wrestling world. I just feel like those ladies, even though there's rumors that they're coming back, I feel like they're ready to push their life in a different direction, but they have so many more business ventures now that they don't necessarily need or want a camera following them around. And honestly, they document their lives pretty well on social media.
So I like the point that you brought up, actually. So, because the Bella Twins just talked about how they are feeling like the end of Total Bellas is coming soon because they want to be more protective of their kids' privacy.
We've been talking about that a lot lately.
We love filming realities. We don't mind it, but you start seeing your kids, and that's what you have to start to think about. Like, my daughter hates the camera.
She does.
My husband, yeah. Bertie doesn't even let me take pictures, but when cameras come around, it's hard on her. So I'm very respectful of her space.
They already talked about kind of wanting to finish up Total Bellas soon, so I guess it just kind of came earlier than they expected. So officially, EE did not have any official statement about, you know, Total Divas or Total Bellas being officially canceled, but as of right now, they are not renewed for both the shows. I personally was more of a fan of Total Divas because, I mean, when it first started, it was such a revolutionary show for wrestling. It was the first time I thought they had a backstage access of like the real life of the people behind the scenes. So I thought the whole show itself, when it began, was very revolutionary. Obviously, it became kind of a cookie cutter reality show in a lot of the ways. They kind of like recycled a lot of the storylines that other reality shows did. I honestly loved learning about lives of so many people. Like, I feel like likes of, you know, Rosa Mendez or Tamina, even Liv Morgan, I feel like I wouldn't have known so much about them without Total Divas. So I'm like really sad that this show is ending, because this was a platform for so many people to get to know these women that didn't have TV time necessarily and get to love them.
Even though it doesn't necessarily echo their gimmick, it allowed a lot of women to get over, and it also brought more female viewership to wrestling. I know a lot of people, when they find out I'm a women's wrestler, they're like, oh, do you watch that show Total Divas or Total Bellas? And they're like, yeah, now I tune in to watch the women's matches because they're so bought into these people. So that's what I'm saying. I'm really worried for the state of women's wrestling, especially at WWE in the future, bringing up other rumors that possibly WWE is being sold by the end of the year, and the fact that E hasn't canceled the shows, they just haven't renewed. I feel like if they are selling, that could be kind of a point too, because since they're gearing up to sell, they're like, let's put the brakes on this. Whoever the new purchaser is, you know, gets the decision if we continue on with these shows or not.
If you want to see more reality shows based on wrestling, you know, there is obviously Maurice and Miz, but also there is the Brandy Rose is doing a show, so if you're interested in that. Another news that we have is on Chyna, the 9th wonder of the world. So we're having the first official Chyna documentary.
That is very exciting. It's actually kind of surprising that it's the first official one. Like, I feel like this should have been done forever ago, quite honestly.
Vice TV is set to launch their new series called Vice Versa, and then they're gonna do the first officially endorsed documentary about Chyna. So they're gonna have a never been seen before footage of Chyna's last days and exclusive interviews with the family members, the insiders, and some of the wrestlers. So, and the trailer is out. Honestly, the trailer looks freaking amazing. Did you see it?
I did. It looks so good. I was definitely hyped for it. At first, when I heard that Chyna was getting a documentary, I was a little worried that it was going to be kind of like the Dark Side of the Ring style, which, by the way, I love. Those are really well made. But I kind of want to have Chyna be celebrated as opposed to focus on like her unfortunate downward spiral and her negatives. Like, she should be praised. She definitely did so much for women's wrestling and was the first of so many, and she should be revered for that. She actually should have her own place in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. So I am glad that they're doing a documentary to do her justice and be able to kind of know more about Chyna herself from the people who knew her best, like her family members.
Her presence is just so missed, and it's just so relevant now that women's wrestling is like more mainstream. It's more on the upfront. She is the name that we should be talking more, but obviously we're not doing that because of some of the things that this documentary will talk about. The press release said it shares an in-depth look at what it is to be famous in America, weaving a narrative of betrayal and addiction untreated while revealing an intimate portrait of a complicated woman. The 2-hour documentary will premiere Thursday, June 17th, so this week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Vice TV. I don't think it's going to sugarcoat anything. A lot of people, including Jim Ross, I think, says that Chyna was a Renaissance woman. And I think because of some of the past, like, addiction, or people have some idea about her, a lot of the people that actually work with her is saying that she was one of the sweetest person. She was smart, she was elegant, she was intelligent woman. So I really hope that Vice TV can paint like a very 360 picture of what happened with her, so we can actually like really celebrate this amazing person.
And you're so right. I feel like the media and people tend to want to focus on the negative aspect of any person's life, especially in the public eye. And there's more to anybody that just comes with their negative things that happened in their life or bad decisions they made. Not one person's not just the bad things that they did. There's way more angles. There's way more to a person than just that. And unfortunately, I think that Chyna, a lot of people at least tend to focus on the negative aspects of her life and tend to forget how you said how great of a person she was and how much she really did contribute to the business. So I'm really looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see it. I actually really like the way that Vice does a lot of their documentaries. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And she well deserved 2 hours and even more. So hopefully the whole world will know what we know already about Chyna.
2 hour, I'm really excited for this. Awesome. That is this week's news and rumor. Thank you so much for joining in. Paloma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Paloma Star on Instagram and Twitter. And DS, where can we find you?
You can find me at DShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. And you can find all of us on our Patreon exclusive Discord. It's poppin', y'all. Join it.
It really is. There's tea time, there's random rants, there's all of the things going on. And I think the coolest thing about it is that you could join the Discord at any level of the Patreon that you join. So even if you from the lowest to the highest level, it's lots of fun. It's a really cool way to be inclusive and talk about all things women's wrestling and wrestling in general. We have our own channel for Drag Race. So
we'll see you next time. Bye!